Hello to everybody. I am Matej Sotlar. I am from Surveying and Mapping Authority of the Republic of Slovenia. I am also head of the project called GEO Slovenija. What I am not is a professional or natural speaker, so I will need my notes, sorry for that. With colleagues, we prepared this presentation about GEO Slovenija and the superior program of projects called Green Slovenian Location Framework. We also call it SLO4D. Let's start with a scientific research from 2010 comparing urban sprawl with invasive cancer. The growth of both systems shown to be fit with mathematical description of fractal pattern. So they are not only similar visually, they also have similar characteristics. Now, of course, we have to be smarter than cancer and try not to kill our host. Let's see how we deal with that in Slovenia. Slovenia and Europe are facing social, or should I say big social and environmental challenges, like reducing emissions, energy challenges, and so on. And in this presentation, we will obviously focus on urban sprawl or urban sprawl containment. The needs for space for urbanization is increasing. On the other side, we have some restrictions and limitations, of course, from the urbanization point of view. So how can we balance that? The fact is that built-up land in Slovenia is increasing. There are several different departments that need land for new buildings and infrastructure. On the other side, of course, is the protection of greenfields, agricultural lands, and nature. We are also committed to EU and national legislation. We have spatial development strategy for Slovenia 2050 that addresses the challenge of balancing these needs for land for urbanization and nature protection. It is taking over the objectives of these first two legislatives on the slide. That is a reduction of annual increase of built-up land by 25% by the year of 2030 and zero net land take by year 2050. Now we have one problem, that spatial development strategy for Slovenia has no plan for operational implementation. Practically at the same time, we were launching this program of projects called Green Slovenian Location Framework. There are several partners in this program: Water Agency, Environmental Agency, Surveying and Mapping Authority, and also 3 directorates from 2 ministries. The main goal of this program is to digitally connect space, environment, water, nature, and real estate in the common infrastructure for spatial information. So initially it was more a digital transition project. We know that green transition cannot be done without the support of geoinformation infrastructure, but we are also aware that such digital transition projects need to have some impact in the green field in order to be successful and useful. So it was only natural that we included the operational implementation of spatial development strategy in SLO4D. We call it Recycle Space Slovenia. Okay, you remember this challenge of balancing needs and limitations. So what do we want to do? We want to use alternatives. Just limiting new building without adequate support mechanisms, we believe it is not the right way. We want to encourage the reuse of abandoned existing buildings, built-up land, and existing building land. On the other side, these ways are more expensive than building on green land. So we need some incentives. The main incentive will be a fund that will provide financing for the difference of expenses when building on brownfield instead of greenfield. In Slovenia, there is a great potential for building and land reuse. The buildings are old and there are many degraded areas and empty dwellings. So we establish basic principles. First, the investors will have to try to renew or replace all old buildings. The last thing they will try is to build on green land. But in that case, they will need to compensate. They will have to turn the equally sized brownfield into the greenfield. Okay, now let's take a look at the infrastructural part of the project. We call that, like I said before, GEO Slovenia. We want to upgrade the national spatial data infrastructure that was implemented thanks to Inspire Directive. Now that I'm talking about infrastructure, I mean the infrastructure in the widest sense. We did some analysis and we viewed some reports and we found out that our NSDI was strong in data and legislation, but scored poorer results in other parts like connecting, educating, finances, and promotion. This really wasn't a surprise, since data and legislation were the focuses of the Inspire Directive we implemented. Regardless of these ratings, I personally believe that the main benefit Inspire brought us was that different stakeholders of the NSDI sit together and start talking. Start thinking out of their silos. We found out that at the end of the day, we are dealing with the same challenges, and that we can do better together. So we needed to renew our vision, strategy, and action plan for NSDI. We renewed the strategy based on UNGGIM Integrated Geospatial Information Framework. So now the focus turned to connecting and cooperating, opening the data and making it available, educating providers and users, and building the community. From the IT point of view, this was the situation before SLO4D in Slovenia. Silos on the production and distribution level, basically the only one talking about sharing and connecting was in the Inspire group. This is what we want to achieve, so connect on the organizational, data, and also process level. Here I want to emphasize that we will connect production systems on the process level, meaning that one production system will be able to trigger processes in another production system automatically, with no human intervention. Here are some screenshots of our work, so the proof that I'm not just talking about it, but that we are actually doing something. Let's turn to the why. Turn back to the why. I already talked about first 4 reasons. There is one important additional reason, that the government needs a tool for testing the effects and consequences of their reforms and measures. GEO Slovenia is adequate because it can be used as a basis practically for all individual policies. Then, in the middle of our project, in the beginning of August, the floods struck Slovenia. Let's see how GEO Slovenia helped. We combined several layers from different agencies, and we were able to do that because of this connection I was talking about earlier. So, orthophoto, undeveloped building land, waters, century waters, 500 years waters. By the way, these floods in August were matched nearly perfect to the 500 years waters in Slovenia. So here is the combination of these layers. We see undeveloped building lands that are safe and those that are potentially in water. We also see here the buildings that shouldn't be there, but this is the discussion for another time. For the conclusion, nevertheless, GEO Slovenia is still in development and testing phase. It proved to be an effective tool for finding replacement land for destroyed homes and also for the negotiations between the state and individual mayors. We also got confirmation that with GEO Slovenia, the green transition is possible. So if you are interested in our project, we have some brochures, some hard copies with us. Just say, and of course we will give it to you. Thank you very much.